guys, it's Tami Butler, your faith-based clinical sexologist, here with another episode of Walk With Me. Now, first of all, I want to tell you guys, I have not been on any exciting hikes because I tore my shoulder muscle, and so I've been resolved to sedentary physical activities until this thing heals up. But once it's better, I will be back out and getting you some more love and travel episodes. But for now, I wanted to share with you something that hit me while I was about to go out and do some work in my garden. And for those of you that know me, you know that I love plants and I love to garden. And this space right here, you can only see a part of it, but it is my potted garden project because I don't have a plot of land to actually plant a physical standard type garden. So a couple years ago, I decided to start experimenting with growing vegetables in pots. And so here we are in my garden. So welcome to my garden on this episode of Walk With Me. And I'm very excited because today, this hit my spirit so strong. And I came out and I decided, you know what? Some of these plants that I've got, I've harvested vegetables, and I've harvested, lettuce and tomatoes, kale. I've got basil growing here. I don't know if you can see this. Calendula flowers, and I've got fresh mint over here, dill that I've made pickles with. I've got cucumbers growing, cantaloupe, watermelon, Swiss chard, some onions. My parsley is really slow to grow this year, and I've got Mr. Lemon over there, who's my little lemon tree. And I've got some jalapeno peppers growing. And so I really enjoy having fresh food from my garden. And so when I came out, I said, you know what? I've harvested some of these things and they don't seem to be making any progress. So what I need to do at this point is I need to reseed. And reseeding is something that you do when you want to get a completely new harvest because the old harvest has died and stopped growing. And you know what? Isn't that like relationships? And I'll tell you what I did, okay? So I had this kale that I harvested that was really, really nice and healthy. And then after I plucked most of the leaves off, what you're supposed to do is leave some of the leaves on so that it can regenerate and grow. Well, it didn't work too well for my plants this year. So what I decided to do was to uproot the existing plant that was basically dying and stagnant, and I'm going to go ahead and reseed. So the trick here is this: when it comes to relationships, right? Sometimes you can add nutrients to the soil, it can have sun, you can water it, and you can care for it, but for some reason or another, it's just not growing. Now, this is what I came to the realization of this morning. Well, actually, it's afternoon. Is that in order for there to be new growth that survives, you have to uproot the old and plant the new. And I thought, wow, that is so powerful, because I want to show you something that happened. So I decided to reseed in the same pot, and look, I got these tiny, here I'm going to see if you guys can see this. I got this tiny little seedling in there, but because all of the old roots were consuming the space and the environment, the new little healthy seedlings could not grow. So literally this monster was getting in the way of this new healthy thing growing. And it's like that in your relationship. And so my question to you is, what is it in your relationship that you need to uproot so that the new seeds that you're planting can grow healthy for you to have a harvest in your relationship? And so while I'm out here in my garden, I was thinking about that. So what I literally have to do is I have to pull out the old plant with this entire root system. And I'm actually, as a gardener, I'm going to, you know, try to conserve some of the soil. But honestly, it's all roots. They're just entangled with each other, and there's a huge root system attached to this. Can you guys see it? See? This one is the kale. And it looks like, you know, there's green leaves and everything, but they're kind of sparse. And in relationships, it's like that. You might see a little bit of fruit, you know, here and there in your relationships. But I wanted to show you as I'm recording this video that, you know, it's really, really important to your relationship to take out the entire plant, okay? So the entire root system, whatever that is. If it's a toxic habit you have, if it's a toxic relationship that you have, that you let get inside your environment, get inside your pot, which, you know, this one here, this is my plant's home, okay? So whatever's happening in this ecosystem is contributing to its either growth or demise. And in this case, we have a bunch of bad roots going on in here that are preventing the new little seedlings from sprouting up and growing. And so they're just kind of dying off. So what I have to do is literally, I have to pluck this entire root system out of the soil, take it out of my environment, okay? And literally throw this baby away. So I'm going to recycle this back to the ground and toss it over there into kind of a big field area. So some of the bunnies over there are probably going to love me today. But literally, I am taking this out. And I'm just taking off, you know, some of the soil that's around the root system. Okay, so like, you don't have to throw the whole house out. Okay, just like in your relationship, you don't have to throw your whole house out. But maybe there's parts of your relationship that gotta go. And so today, what has served me well in the past is no longer serving me well. And it's actually stifling the growth of the other plants. So once I have the old root system out, I'm just going to turn the soil a little bit and just kind of till it up. It's kind of like cleaning your house, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some new seeds. These ones are actually, I'm going to plant, this one is Swiss Chard. So I'm actually going to plant some of these here in this pot. And I'm just going to stick it down in the dirt, cover it up, and just kind of plant them around. And these actually grow pretty nice. So I'm in the Denver metro, so there's a lot of sun out here that really will help to contribute to these little seedlings growing and becoming healthy little plants. So I've gone ahead and put my new seeds in the dirt. And I should tell you, like, these seeds, like, they're non-GMO, so they're organic. And a word about planting seeds, whether it be in your garden or in your relationship, is that you want to make sure that you're planting good seeds, because whatever you plant in this baby is going to grow. And that's the truth about a relationship as well. So if you plant bad seeds in your relationship, weed seeds, they're going to grow, and then you're going to have to deal with them. But if you're careful to plant the right seeds in your relationship, just like I put in my pot here to reseed, then if you care for it well, you will have a harvest. And the thing that I want to encourage you, one thing about gardening is we put seeds in the ground, and it takes a little time for us to see those little seedlings come up and sprout. And so you have to be patient a little bit, because really, I don't know if you guys can see this, what's going on underneath the surface is a root system is growing. Way before you even see the little sprout on the top of the soil, there's a root system going deep, deep, deep down. And this tiny little root system actually became this. Look at this. See the difference? And that's true of your relationship as well. So whatever you're planning, you may not see it growing, but let me tell you something. The root system is growing. And the longer that it grows, the longer and deeper and thicker the root system becomes. So literally when I'm pulling the plant out of its environment so that I can reseed with some new seeds for growth in a healthy way that I can harvest, you know, it took a little pulling, it took a little doing. And there may be parts of your relationship that are hard to dig up. It might hurt, it might be painful, you might not want to do it. Because like I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, look at this is good, right? Isn't that a cute little kale plant? Well, guess what? This little kale plant has been sitting like this for weeks, doing nothing, growing nowhere. So don't be deceived by small growth, okay? And that's true of your relationship. I mean, certainly, you know, when it starts out as a little tiny little baby seedling and it grows up to this, you got to be patient. But when it's something that's not good, that you don't want it to continue to grow and you need to uproot it, then you know what? Do not be afraid to toss it out, because that's what we've got to do with those roots. We got to toss them away, plant the new good seeds, and then the sun is going to warm it up. And that's the loving, kind, affirming words you're going to say to each other in your relationship. And we're going to water the seeds, okay? So the water is going to go in so that it doesn't stay dry, because who likes a dry relationship? And in this case, a plant doesn't like to be dry either. So think of the water as the word, you know, because the word gives new life, right? It springs forth new life inside of you. So as you and your mate start reading the Word of God, reading the Bible, agreeing on things together in prayer, you know, confessing things over your relationship that are positive and good, before you know it, you're going to start seeing those cute little seedlings grow up in your relationship in a way that makes you feel excited and invigorated again. So I want to thank you for spending this time with me in my garden. And you know, at the end of the day, I know relationships are work, just like all these plants are work. It's a daily effort. I have to water them, I have to fertilize them, I have to be careful they don't get too much sun, I have to be careful if it hails that I protect them. So all of those things are very, very important. And I just want to leave you with this. So as I'm reaching behind me here for my tomato plant, this is the fruit, okay? See my tomato plant here? I actually have 3 tomato plants. This is a cherry tomato plant. This is the fruit. And after the work has been done, after the watering, after the sun, the good words, the affirmations, the good things that you do to help make your partner's life easier and be more loving and more patient and more kind and generous. You see, then we end up with fruit. Let me try this tomato. Oh, let me tell you, there is nothing like fresh garden vegetables. So as I leave you here today, sitting in my potted garden, I want to remind you that dig up the old weed seeds that are stagnant, roots that are not producing in your relationship, and plant some new seeds, because then you're going to end up with some fruit, and your relationship is going to be a whole lot sweeter, and it's going to encourage you to keep going through the rough and the challenging times. So I love you guys. Visit my website, www.itsthebusinessoflove.com, for more resources, products, services, information to help you have a healthy relationship. And remember, I'm here to help you improve the intimate aspect of your marriage, have great sex, and get to forever. Thanks for joining me today in my garden, and I will see you again on another episode of Walk With Me. Bye-bye.